welcome to the Casual Cry Club, your cozy corner on the internet. We are your background besties. I'm Sunny.
And I'm Sherry, and we yap about unimportant things and we give you unserious advice. Hi, Sunny.
Hi, Sherry. It's you again.
It's you again. The next day. We've never been on such a strict production schedule because I'm traveling this coming weekend and we need to we need to record like more episodes to back up.
Yes, so once again, today's episode is about traveling. Okay, so when we talk about the highlights of my trip, so let me share one story first. It was a story of me meeting this weird, maybe homeless man in a train station late at night, and then he was just beside me, breathing down my neck. So we had to change our train tickets, which again was like another whole drama on its own. Or we had to go and queue up to change it manually. We went to Chengdu to do it at night. And then that was when I met this weird homeless man who came beside
Mm.
me to breathe down my neck.
Oh my gosh. Was he requesting money from you?
No, this guy actually started from my mom. So he went beside my mom to sit near her and then like
Mm.
stare at her. My dad saw it. So my dad decided to take out his walking stick. So both my parents bought like a portable walking stick for the walking.
Uh,
So my dad took
uh.
both it of it out. And then the guy got scared. So the guy came over to my side and stood beside me to stare at me and breathe down my neck. And I can hear it very clearly, but I didn't dare to look at him. So I don't know if he's just like an old person who with breathing issues or a
Mm.
pervert.
He was just looking at you without saying anything.
Yeah, so I didn't know at that point in time, right? Because I don't dare look at him. So I cannot tell if he's harmless or harmful.
Okay.
And then and then my brother was so unaware. He doesn't know anything. He's like that kind lah, like little boy, right? Not aware of his surroundings. And he left me behind with that person. And then when my brother left me, right, I decided that I'm going to take many steps away. And then I finally look around and then I realized this guy was just staring at me, making eye contact,
Oh, that's quite scary.
and then breathing loudly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I faster step away lah. And then and then apparently my brother went over to tell my parents to go back to the hotel first. And then my dad scolded.
Why?
My dad was like saying, "Are you blind? Can you be more aware of your surrounding? Can you see that
Oh.
guy over there who's following your sister?"
Oh no. Your brother does not care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He doesn't know.
It's quite scary.
Yeah, it is scary, right? So
Mm.
I don't know, man. Like, just be careful when you're traveling alone.
But speaking of scary situations, I encountered this pretty scary situation, not when I was in the US, but when I was in London. Also,
Mm.
I was in London recently for a business trip. Um, a week after I came back from the US, right? So I was in London and there was one night where we had a team dinner. So four of us, we had team dinner. And then after dinner, I was still early. So I decided that I wanted to go for a walk around the hotel. And then two of my teammates decided to come with me also. So three of us,
Mm-hmm.
we were just walking. And then we planned to walk towards this like landmark that's maybe 10 minutes away. So
Mm.
we walked there and then we reached there, took some pictures, wanted to walk around the landmark. And we were doing that, and suddenly my one of my teammates was like, "Hey, let's check out this supermarket that's beside that landmark." So okay, we walked in, and then once we were safely inside that supermarket, she suddenly said, "Oh, I don't have a good feeling about the two guys outside." And then I was like, at this point, I was like, "What two guys?" I didn't see anyone around us, didn't see anyone suspicious. But she was like, "Oh, there are two guys like, following us." And when we kind of, turned back to walk into the supermarket, they also turned back as well. And I was shocked because I didn't see
Mm.
anyone. Yeah, it was pretty scary. We Well, I was just following them, so they decided to leave the supermarket. And just nice, there were like two policemen in that supermarket, so we walked up with them. And then the both of them decided to just take a cab back to the hotel. And I was like, huh, but I still want to walk, walk a little bit more because it was still early. But I didn't say that. So I just went along with them. And then on the car, they said that they still saw the two guys like outside the supermarket
Mm.
waiting. And they looked like they were waiting for someone. Yeah. So it was scary. Can you imagine? Like if I went on that walk by myself, which I would have done, um, I don't know, I wouldn't have sensed that there was any danger.
Yeah. Do you think that this is because we are Singaporeans?
Yes. Yeah, totally. So my teammates, for context, they're from the Philippines. So I think they have this sense of danger, or like they were always alert of the things and the people around them. Whereas I was just, looking at the landmarks, enjoying my time there, being the naive, oblivious Singaporean. Yeah, so thank goodness they came with me on that walk. And I really appreciate, like, after coming back, I super appreciate how safe Singapore is. Like how it's safe to like walk outside even even when it's nighttime.
That we are. Being Singaporeans made us weak,
We are
right?
just blessed. Yeah.
What do you think would happen if you are alone that night?
Wow, I really don't know. I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, after that, I decided that I wasn't gonna take any more night walks on my own, especially because it's really like you never know, and it's quite scary.
I think weak little Singaporeans like us should try to get in bed by 10 p.m.
Even earlier than 10 p.m. because the sun sets early. Yeah, maybe by 5, 6 p.m. we have to be home and in
Mm.
bed. Yeah.
In the US that when I was in New York, I was on a subway with my family. And then the train came to a stop at one of the stations. And then there's just guy that just walked in and he looked homeless. Like he was carrying his like bags and all his stuff and he looked a bit like disheveled. And he came onto our train carriage. And then when the door closed, he started like, saying in a loud voice to everyone that he's homeless, he hasn't eaten since like 2 days ago, and he was just like soliciting donations from the people on the train. And it's like, I don't know,
Mm.
that made me so like on edge because I don't know, the whole carriage was so quiet and it was just him talking and he was like going around, walking up and down the carriage, like getting people to give him money so that he can eat. Um, yeah, it's honestly quite sad. But
Mm.
at that point, I was just like a bit on edge, like a bit anxious. If he's gonna do anything dangerous. Yeah. But after that, he just like some people, like there were like a couple of people that actually gave him money and
Mm.
then he just got off at the next stop. So yeah, I realized that they're just like well, this might be a bit privileged to say, but they're just like normal people and they just really need a bit of money to eat and they don't actually want to harm you.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so. I think a lot of us have a bias in our head.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder why. I wonder why we are so scared of homeless people when we go overseas sometimes.
Yeah, I think we just live in like a very safe and secure bubble in Singapore.
And maybe also like the way people taught us when we were kids, right? Like your parents or maybe our teachers will say, "Oh, stay away from people like that. They could be dangerous." But even though they are not, but this was what was taught to us. So it's very hard for us to
Mm.
unlearn it as adults.
I have I have one last highlight to share before we move on to the next segment in this episode. So basically the last day that we spent in New York, we were preparing to travel to the airport to leave US, to leave New York. And then we booked this car from Xiaohongshu to pick us up and transfer us to the airport, right? So we all
Mm.
loaded our luggages into the car, and then I got into the car and I was just waiting for the car to leave. And then I was just looking out the window and like just trying to, you know, just waiting for the car to start moving. And then I saw this guy like opposite on the opposite side of the road, standing on the pavement, and he was like bent over. So I thought he was, on drugs lah. The zombie drug that makes you bend over. So I thought he was on that. Till I saw something coming out of his ass. Like it was like I don't even know how to explain it, like streams of like dark liquid shooting out of his ass.
Lao sai ah.
If you imagine like the Malayan, right? Like water coming out of the mouth, that's exactly how it was. And it was like brown liquid. And then I was just staring like, what the heck? And then like a few seconds later, this guy just stood up straight, pulled up his pants, and then just walked off like nothing happened. And then I was just in shock. Like how did he just do that in public, number one? And then number two is how his poop managed to come out so cleanly. It was literally projectile poop coming out of his butt. Yeah, and then he just walked away like nothing happened.
He didn't wipe.
Yeah. He didn't wipe. And then I saw his ass, like his full ass.
Did he wear his pants back at least?
Yes, he did. He didn't wipe. He pulled up his pants and then just walked away normally.
Good for him.
I was so shocked, and that was the last thing that I saw before the car took off. That was the last memory that I had of New York City. And it was this guy standing at the side of the road, projectile pooping, with his ass hanging out. So memorable.
So good.
Epic story.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next part of the episode, where we compare cultural differences between US, Singapore, and China. Let's do food.
Mm.
So I realized that, like, just based on my experience, the food portions in the US are just huge, like massive. And they're quite reasonably priced for the portion. But just a bit more expensive because like if you convert it back to Singapore currency, it's just a bit more expensive, but it's worth it, I would say, in their currency. Portions are massive. Like usually we will order for a meal that we order, that meal can feed like two of us.
Mm.
Like two of us in a family. Everything is massive.
Yeah, so where we went, I mean, China is very varied, right? So it depends
Mm,
on where you go. But where we went, wow, like for example in Zhangjiajie, it's so touristy. I mean, I don't know about Jiuzhaigou because we didn't eat.
mm,
Remember? It was a trip. It was a trip without food. But at Zhangjiajie, we did have some meal times. And oh my God, we were so bored because it's such a touristy place. Every
mm,
single shop is selling the same tourist food. You get what
mm.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so imagine if it's like Singapore and then every single shop is just selling Hainan chicken rice
Mm.
and laksa, like the same three things in every single shop.
Is their local like specialty dish, right?
Yes, that they try to sell to tourists. So every shop sells
Mm,
the same thing. So for
mm.
all my days there, we are just eating the same thing. I got very bored after a while. Yeah. Very strange, right? Like why don't they want to have like variety or anything?
Okay, next. Toilet situation. Yeah, for me, I think the toilets in the US are actually quite different from the ones in Singapore. Number one, for some reason, their doors and everything in the toilets are mostly made of metal. I think I sent you a picture of a toilet in the US, and that was like the first toilet that I saw when I landed in the US. Everything was metal. Like the cubicle doors are metal, the walls are metal as well. And then the gaps in between, like the gaps between the floor and the sides of the cubicles are so big. Like I feel a bit unsafe peeing in that toilet because the gap is so huge. But I have to say the toilets there are very clean. Like most of the public toilets that we went to, quite clean, quite well maintained. And almost every single toilet we went to had those like toilet seat covers, like the
Mm.
paper that you can like cover the toilet seat. So yeah, everything was quite clean. And I'm very impressed.
Very good, very good. This is the opposite of China. I think all the toilets that I went to, I mean like in the tour in the more rural tourist areas, I think it's quite dirty. Like, yeah, so all the toilet, right? Very weird one. There were a lot of
Uh,
toilets that we went to that has
yeah.
no water and no electricity.
Ew.
Maybe because like they want to save water on the
Uh,
mountains. Yeah, so there's no water and no electricity. So it's super smelly and very dark. And everywhere there's just like pee, poop, blood, anything you can
uh,
imagine.
their family still use it.
We have to! We have to lah. If not how? We have to.
I
Yeah,
would
so I just
I would hold it.
how to hold the whole day eh.
Yee.
So the only thing we can hold is our breaths. We just hold our breaths and then go in and then try to
Oh
like
my
hurriedly come out.
gosh. And
Yeah.
there's no water, like, could you wash your hands?
No, there's no water. You
Oh
can't flush
my
the toilet, you can't wash your
God.
hands.
No
Yeah.
way. Ugh, I'm getting
Luckily we have
goosebumps.
like luckily we have a lot of like wet wipes and all that. But yeah,
Wow.
this
Ew.
toilet situation was bad.
Okay. Gross. The next one is transportation. Oh my gosh, transportation in the US. So I think especially for LA, I'll say LA, it's so hard to get around if you don't have your own car or if you
Mm.
don't order an Uber because everything is just very spread apart from one another, like the attractions mainly.
Mm.
And it's not very walking friendly also because the weather is, well, when we went, the weather was quite sunny. Sunny. Weather
Like
was
me?
quite, yeah. The weather was quite sunny, but there were not a lot of sheltered walkways, sheltered
Mm.
pathways. Yeah, so if you were to walk, you would have been walking in the sun and for really long distances. So we had to Uber almost everywhere we went. And Uber was not cheap there also. But
Mm.
in New York, the subway system was more connected, but the platforms, the stations, and the trains, I don't think they're super well maintained. Not very clean also. Yeah.
Hmm.
And there's this, like, it made me appreciate Singapore's transport system so much because, like, even the directions, like the signboards and the directions in those subway stations are so confusing. Like, I think it's a meme on TikTok. Like, it's a thing that those directions, those signs are like meant to be confusing. Yeah, so it's so easy to get lost and to get on the wrong train. Yeah, what about China?
I think it depends lah. Like big cities is very easy, right? Like your trains, your taxis, they're cheap and affordable and so
Yeah,
accessible. Yeah, but then
TT.
yes, and then when you get to the more rural parts, then you need a car.
Mm,
But I think that the cross city trains so far we have taken are very good. Yeah.
mm.
So nothing much to say. It's very typical of what you can expect of China. All right, so we have spoken so much. I think very tired already. We need to go because we both need to go and work now because we have set lives.
Yeah, so that's the end of our travel adventures,
Yes.
travel
Even though
highlights.
even though we have more to say, we have to go, okay? So guys, bye.
Sorry. Bye. See you in our
See
next
you.
one.
Bye bye.